Ever wondered what the best way to prepare for the end of the world is? Well, whether you're a seasoned zombie survival planner or just a budding bunker builder, a secure fortress is essential. So let's take a look at the best purpose-made Doomsday bunkers out there before designing the ultimate survival fortress. To design the ultimate survival fortress, we first need to know what we're up against. So what are the top threats to humankind? Here are the most likely Doomsday threats, and how a specifically designed fortress will help us prepare for them. Financial crisis. Many people believe a financial crisis, like one we've never experienced before, will lead to a collapse of the world economy, causing a breakdown of our system of trade and ultimately wide-scale civil unrest as people battle for food. In such a scenario, cash would be virtually worthless, so you'd have to be prepared by hoarding lots of food and supplies. Your fortress would have to be large enough to keep years' worth of food and water, and impenetrable to prevent the unprepared from stealing your rations. Hunger. With the ever-declining population of bees, it's possible that one day these productive pollinators may die out. If something like that happens, a major shock in world food supply would lead to social unrest. We'd be unable to produce enough food to feed a fraction of the world's 7 billion hungry mouths, who'd be desperate enough to kill you for that last crumb. For disasters of this kind, you'll need a large cache of supplies and a secure, sustainable way of raising and growing food for you and your fellow survivors. Biological disasters. Antibiotic-resistant bacteria, as well as extremely infectious and deadly diseases grown in shady labs around the world, are very real threats to our existence. Whether triggered by bio-warfare or as part of the various potential outcomes of chemical warfare, the impacts could be pervasive. And if infectious diseases or noxious gases lead to an apocalypse, you better be quarantined behind sturdy, sealed, isolated walls with ample medical supplies. And of course, there's the zombie apocalypse. Be it through mind-controlling fungi or psychic brainworms, when the zombies come for your flesh, your urban apartment isn't going to do you much good. You'll need sturdy walls and ample defense supplies, but more on that later. Nuclear weapons. From their initial scorching explosions to their long-abiding carcinogenic fallout, nuclear weapons are a real threat. The largest bomb in the US nuclear arsenal could kill 1.4 million people within 24 hours. Russia's largest could kill 7.6 million. But nuclear war wouldn't be a single bomb affair. If it happens and hundreds of warheads are launched, you can say bye-bye to the world as you know it. If Doomsday preppers have it right, underground is the place to go, as several meters of soil, rock, and reinforced concrete are the best way to shield yourself from nuclear explosions and deadly radiation. Natural disasters. Tsunamis, volcanic eruptions, and even giant meteors could also pose a threat to the survival of humans in the future. Climate change or a major polar shift may lead to more extreme weather and rising seas. Whether dealing with toxic post-eruption air, biblical floods, or a devastated surface world, the ultimate fortress is going to have to be well above sea level, watertight, and almost indestructible. So now we know what we'd potentially be up against. But before we design the ultimate survival fortress, let's see what's already out there for us to take inspiration from to withstand Doomsday scenarios. The Oppidum. This is a billionaire bunker so secretive that even the website is protected with a code. It was created by a Czech entrepreneur to survive a nuclear attack. It's reported to be the largest residential doomsday shelter in the world and is situated in a secret location somewhere in Czechia. It's protected by multiple high-security systems complete with a blast door and can provide accommodation, food, and supplies for up to 10 years. The shelter even comes complete with leisure facilities, including a bar, library, and cinema. Similar to the Oppidum is the Adirondack's missile silo house, which hides a deep blast door protected vault beneath an unassuming cabin. Though nowhere near as advanced or geared out as the Oppidum, this Cold War missile silo would certainly protect you from the worst of nuclear or biological warfare. However, these scenarios aren't the most ideal long-term solution to all Doomsday scenarios. Being underground isn't a long-term solution. Even if you had a decade of supplies, eventually you'd need to grow food, trap more water, and keep renewable energy devices up and running to power your house. The power grid would likely be out, so you'd need to produce your own energy to keep warm and power your devices. Above-ground structures would be necessary, but they should be much better defended against potential zombies or looters. Spitbank Fort. Spitbank Fort deals with the issue of irradiated land by removing the land part altogether. This sea fortress, located near Portsmouth in the UK, was completed in 1878. The fort is armor-plated with reinforced concrete and was once kitted out with searchlights as well as 9 12-inch breech-loading guns, capable of taking down steamships and light aircraft. It's now a privately owned hotel and boasts 9 luxury bedroom suites at £700 per night. You'd better start saving now if you want to hide here for the apocalypse. Its isolated location and tough exterior would provide the perfect defense and distance against zombies. But if Plymouth was hit by a large nuclear warhead, you'd probably grow an additional ear in no time. This fort may be prepared for attack, but falls short in the area of supplies, and would also be vulnerable against an apocalyptic flood. Safehouse. This safe house in Warsaw, Poland, designed by Robert Konieczny, took 4 years to build, with ultimate security in mind. It features automated sliding walls, window shutters, solar energy storage, and even has a drawbridge to get to the swimming pool building. The sliding walls and drawbridge are designed to completely close off the house from the outside world. However, this safe house still falls short in many ways. In particular, it lacks the nuclear survival advantages afforded by being underground, has no weapons, no tight-sealed protection or treatment facilities against airborne diseases, and no long-term food supplies. While it may protect you from zombies, it wouldn't be so great during a nuclear disaster. It's also lacking the vast food reserves necessary to survive most other scenarios. Now, drawing on the greatest examples in existence, plus a little creative ingenuity, it's time to design a survival fortress to rival them all. Assuming you've got an unlimited budget, you could create something really cool. An ideal structure would have both above and below ground living quarters. Underground, you're protected from nuclear fallout, and above ground, you have the ability to generate food or energy should your storage be insufficient. For both protection and surveillance, a tall structure would be a good idea. Think of something like a tall, wide silo with steel walls, 10 inches thick to protect you from radioactive particles, and reinforced with concrete to protect us from rust. Inside, you could store a heap of food, enough to feed a community of 10 for a few decades. This will involve non-perishable food with long shelf lives, such as cans, jars, and military ready-to-eat meals. We'll also need water purification equipment, batteries, and medical gear, including medicines like vitamins and antibiotics. Above ground, there's an armory stocked full of weapons and ammunition. You could have water tanks on the roof to collect water that feeds into a huge underground reservoir. To protect your roof assets, walls could extend around the edge, with intermittent gaps for you to view the surrounding area and shoot any potential intruders. Also on the roof, there would be a small garden to grow food, with solar panels and wind turbines to power your house. These could be connected to devices like Tesla's Powerwall to store excess energy when it's not used. For more land to grow food, you could even construct large curved walls around structures to prevent any zombie pyramids from getting up and over. Taking inspiration from the Warsaw Safehouse, a drawbridge can unfold to a structure housing a ladder, allowing you to access the inner garden. It would also act as your first line of defense against hordes of zombies you can shoot at from the top of the tower. On that note, guns, and lots of them. It's kill or be killed in a desperate apocalyptic world. Through the center of the structure is a spiral staircase, allowing you to access each floor. Deep below the surface is the living quarters. The inside of the fortress will take inspiration from the Oppidum, with pleasant decorations and a few luxuries. There should be a radio system in the main chamber, wired to rooftop antenna, just in case news is being transmitted that you need to know about. You'd need a large kitchen and lounge area, and a few bedrooms for your family and friends. A survival team or community of your choosing is vitally important, with medical professionals, firearm experts, and a problem solver with technical abilities. If not, you better add a library of books so you can learn. Add a gym, cinema room, and games room, and you should have at least some entertainment to help you through the tough times. Right at the bottom, where risk of contamination is lower, as is temperature, you could store all other essential supplies. A fridge stocked with thousands of different varieties of seeds, for example. But that's not all. You'll also need some emergency backpacks for each group member, stocked with food, water, and medical supplies, ready for an emergency escape. It may be the safest fortress ever, but if someone somehow gains access, you may need a lifeline as you make your way out. The only way in and out of the fortress, aside from an emergency rooftop escape hatch, will be via a connecting tunnel leading a mile out from the lowest point of the bunker. This tunnel, eventually ending in a hatch concealed in deep woodland, will be staggered with several steel blast doors to prevent unwelcome company as well as radiation. Let's also add in a mechanical security system for all blast doors, with coded locks. No electric keypads here though. Electricity may become a scarce luxury. So, where are we going to locate this beauty? Let's assume your survival fort is within driving distance in North America. It must be away from cities to reduce the dangers of people and diseases, and the fact they're at risk of being hit in a nuclear war. New York is out of the picture. It must also be far away from natural threats. You'd have to choose somewhere away from fault lines so you don't have earthquakes, so California is out, and well above sea levels. Bye, Florida. The tornado belt and blizzard zone should also be avoided, and stay away from Yellowstone if that erupts. Also, as a buffer in case the world heats up, choose somewhere relatively cool but still sunny enough to grow food. Knocking out large areas, possibly the safest state to be is remote Iowa, specifically somewhere in Sutter. It's in the middle of nowhere about 40 miles from the nearest town, and has enough greenery to survive. The only potential pitfall is that a huge tall silo does look a little suspicious, and may gain some unwanted attention, so you could always disguise it in a natural pillar, such as atop this island in Phuket, or in place of this monastery in the Kotsky Pillar in Georgia. These places are located in relative isolation and far away from most impending natural threats, so it could be good alternatives. Bringing all those strengths together, here it is, the ultimate fortress. It's got everything you need, specifically designed to survive any of the world's worst possible apocalyptic scenario. Now all you have to do is spend millions of dollars to bring this beauty to life. So, do you think I covered everything? Is this the ultimate survival fortress, or is there room for improvement? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Thanks for watching.